So today I want to talk a little bit about how to figure out what frequency you're on. Okay? For those of you who don't know, all I ever set out to do was learn how to manifest a better life for myself. Okay? I never ever set out to be a tarot card reader. Never set out to be some internet personality or anything like that. I was living in a homeless shelter 6 years ago when I accidentally stumbled across law of attraction, and I dedicated my life to learning it. And I vowed to myself that if I'm ever in the position to help guide anybody with this or teach this to anybody, I'm going to explain it in a way that's easier to understand than anybody else out here teaching it to the masses. So we hear all these cool, fluffy little phrases, like, abundance and, vibration and frequency and manifestation. And those are kind of out of most of our normal vocabularies. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what that means. What does frequency mean? How do I know what frequency I'm on? Okay. You operate just like a radio. Just like a radio. Okay? And let me explain to you how that operating system works. Imagine this. Me and you are at a house party. Okay? We're at this party. We're sitting in the living room having a conversation, talking back and forth like this. And there's 20 other conversations going on around us, and there's music thumping. Well, the part of you that is basically your frequency radio dial, there's a subconscious part of you that you're not aware of that's constantly scanning your surroundings, and you're not aware that it's happening. Okay? And it's only looking for things that you have programmed it to focus on through years and years and years of repetition. Okay? So imagine me and you were at a house party, and we're sitting in a room having a conversation, and there's 20 other conversations going on around us, and there's music thumping. That part of you is scanning your surroundings, sweeping all the unnecessary information under the rug so that it won't get overwhelmed with too much information. Information overload, you know what I mean? Sensory overload. It's basically a defense mechanism against that, okay? But in the middle of our conversation, through all those conversations, through the music thumping, somebody mentions your name, and you hear that. That is the part of you that you need to pay attention to. That is the part of you that you need to reprogram. Okay? Like me, for example. My favorite thing to say to myself used to be, I'm a worthless piece of shit. I would say that to myself probably 500 to 1,000 times a day. And I had to start telling myself, I am successful. And that was really hard to tell myself. Really hard to tell myself, I am successful. I had never made more than minimum wage my entire adult life. At the time, I was working a minimum wage job. I was working at a car wash, scrubbing cars for tips. Every single day, I would go into work not having a clue if I was going to make enough tips to eat dinner that night. So it was very uncomfortable to tell myself I am successful. I would look around. I'm working at this little rundown, crappy car wash. I would look down. My entire outfit might cost $20 from the Goodwill. My clothes are all dirty because I didn't even have a washing machine. Didn't even have a working washing machine. I had to wash all my clothes in the bathtub with shampoo. Because you know what I mean? So it was really, really uncomfortable for me to tell myself I am successful. But I started telling myself this all day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every day. I had to tell myself, I am successful. I am successful. I am successful. And I had to pound that into my own head. And it gave me a bit of a headache. You know how I tell you guys? If you really want to see a change, you have to be ready and willing to make 2022 uncomfortable. Well, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of discomfort that I'm talking about. Okay? I would give myself a headache sometimes, telling myself I am successful. I am successful. Because that subconscious voice in my head, that thing that's constantly scanning my surroundings, isn't looking for things that align with the thought that I'm successful. It's looking for things that align with me being a worthless piece of shit. That's what my subconscious mind is looking for. So I would give myself migraines some days, telling myself I am successful. After about 6 months, 8 months, I stopped one day and I said, whoa, I've been telling myself I am successful all day, and I haven't even realized I was saying it to myself. I just noticed that that thought has been running underneath my conscious awareness all day, and I didn't even have to force it. I believe it. I really do believe that I am worthy of success. I really do believe that I'm worthy of making the kind of money that I want to make. You know, it blew my mind. Now, I did do this in tandem with walking a path towards financial success. Okay? It's that your money's not just going to come knock on your door because you say a couple of affirmations. It doesn't work that way. But it's not just about money. This is about anything in your life. What you have to do is you have to unwire your thoughts and rewire new thoughts. Okay? Just like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, if you want to create a new personal reality, you cannot do it as the same personality. It won't work. You literally have to become someone else. And when he says literally, what he means is you have to rewrite your own neural circuitry with the power of thought control. And yes, it is possible. It's the same operating system that forms and breaks any habit. Here's another thing that I thought was cool. Okay, so they took two groups of people, okay? Group A and Group B. They gave everybody in both groups a brain scan. They scanned their brains just to see where they are neurologically, okay? Then they took Group A and they had them sit down at a piano, okay? And they practiced this little melody, like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or something like that, you know? And they had them on a very strict schedule practicing this melody for like 8 weeks. After the 8 weeks was up, they gave them another brain scan and they could see the new connections that were wired in the brains from setting and practicing this melody over and over and over. They took Group B. Group B never touched a piano. They had Group B run through a series of mental exercises and think about practicing the melody. Same melody, same schedule, the whole 9 yards. Guess what? The exact same new connections formed in the brains of those who used thought alone as in the brains of the people who physically sat down and touched a piano. What does that tell you? Your brain is very easily programmable. Very easy to program your brain. And you have the ability to program it to do whatever you want. To do whatever you want. Okay? But there's this little thing called cognitive dissonance. Okay? Little thing called cognitive dissonance. And I'm sorry, there's no easy way around it, but you're going to have to put up with that for a period of time if you really want to see a change. Okay? It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Your results in life are a mirror image reflection of the frequency you're really on. Okay? See, it's easy to fool people. Okay? It's easy to be judged by people. Everybody will think and say something different about you. But the only one who really knows the truth is the universe. And the only way to really find out the truth is to look at your results in your life. Okay? You cannot fool the universe. You absolutely cannot fool the universe. And let me explain why. First of all, where is the universe? Where is it? The source of all creation. Where is it? Most of us kind of believe and treat the universe as if it's out here somewhere. You know? Even me, I grew up thinking that there was an old dude sitting in the clouds that could reach down from the sky and help me out. Actually, it turns out that the source of creation is an inner dimension that consciousness blooms out of. If that's too hard of a concept to wrap your mind around, just go outside, find a tree, and explain to me where it came from. Out in my front yard there's an enormous pine tree. It's every bit of 60 feet tall. It's huge. It came out of a seed. It came out of a seed. All organic life and consciousness on this planet is blooming out of the source of creation. We're all plugged into it. I'm plugged into it. You're plugged into it. My cat's plugged into it. This little cactus is plugged into it. All organic life and consciousness on this planet is plugged into and is emerging out of the exact same source. Now think you're going to hide from the universe. Now think you're going to fool the universe when we're all plugged directly into it. We're all emerging out of the same source. Okay? So remember, if you really want to make a change in 2022, okay, you don't make this out here change. You make this change. Okay? And then as soon as you make this change, that's when everything out here will mold to fit that. See what I'm saying? So what is it you're wanting to change? Your money? Your love life? Well, it's very important to understand that your money and your love life are a reflection of what's going on in here. Okay? You don't worry about your money because you don't make much. You don't make much because you worry about money. It's a reflection of how you feel about it. Okay? You're not lonely because you can't find the right person. You can't find the right person because you're forming connections on the frequency of emptiness and loneliness. Nobody can make their way into your life. Nobody. No romantic love interests, no friends. You can't form a connection with any family member. No, nobody can make their way into your life unless they do one thing, and that is match your frequency. Match your frequency, okay? So if I'm on the frequency of loneliness, emptiness, and heartache, a person can only make their way into my life if they also vibrate at a frequency that resonates harmoniously with loneliness, emptiness, and heartache. And as soon as we connect on that frequency, if either of us maintains that frequency, which most people do, because most people think that a relationship is going to make the frequency go away, but it doesn't. What ends up happening between the two of us is going to be a manifestation that complements and represents loneliness, emptiness, and heartache. Okay? So if I'm lonely, not even a relationship with my actual life partner will take that away from me. I have to fill the void in my heart first. And then the universe will bring me the person that aligns with that frequency. Okay? If I'm worried and stressed out about my money and my finances, I have to stop worrying and stressing about my money first. Okay? The difference between love and money, though, is money's not going to come knocking on your door. You do have to get on a path of financial abundance. You have to pick a path and start walking. Okay? Like go to Google, type in how to start an online business and start doing it. Get on the path and start going. Okay? You have to get on that path and start walking first before the universe can intervene and start guiding you in the right direction. Okay? So if you want to make a change in 2022, you have to be ready and willing to make 2022 uncomfortable. The good news is, though, is it doesn't stay uncomfortable for long. That's the good news, okay? That's the good news. Some of you have heard me tell this story before, but I very first came to this realization when I was homeless, okay? I was homeless. I lived under a bridge for 6 months in downtown Jeffersonville, Indiana. The Court Avenue Bridge, as a matter of fact, was my home. All I had to my name was a couch cushion, a blanket, and a pillow. And that was my bed that I slept on up underneath the viaduct of the Court Avenue Bridge in downtown Jeffersonville, Indiana. And I will never forget the first day that I laid down under that bridge. I was so shattered. I was devastated. I was humiliated. I was torn to pieces, dude. I was like, this is my life. This is my life. This is what my life has come to. You know, my 2 kids have a worthless piece of shit, homeless daddy who's a deadbeat. This is my life. I was crushed. Fast forward about 3 months. I'm sitting up under that same bridge, drinking a half gallon of vodka, and I realized something. Whoa. I'm becoming comfortable with this. This is becoming my new norm. This is becoming my new way of life. If I can become comfortable doing this, I can become comfortable doing anything. And at that point, this was before I ever even learned any of these, these techniques. And I didn't know anything about manifestation and never heard of it. Okay, but that was the first time that light popped on in my head. And ever since then, I have been dedicating my life to being outside of my comfort zone. Okay? Step outside of your comfort zone and stay outside of your comfort zone, and it will eventually become comfortable. I know there's some of you out there watching who are in that toxic relationship, aren't you? That same toxic relationship that just keeps looping around in a circle, looping and looping and looping, and it just the same cycle keeps repeating itself over and over and over. And every time you try to leave, it hurts too bad. You're too afraid because that's your comfort zone. That's your comfort zone. And this person manipulates you and guilt trips you and uses your feelings against you. So you run right back to your comfort zone. And you think things are going to magically change, and they don't. You step outside of your comfort zone and stay there. Eventually, it will become comfortable. Okay? And like me, every time it starts becoming comfortable, I step back outside of my comfort zone. So your comfort zone will come find you. It will come find you. You don't have to return to it. If you imagine it, I always picture my comfort zone like a dome. Imagine it's like a dome, and you're in the middle of this dome. You step outside of that dome and you stay outside of it, eventually that dome will expand. And all these things that used to be uncomfortable are now the new you. This is my new norm. This is second nature to me now. This is just the new me. You have to be ready and willing to make 2022 uncomfortable, but it won't stay uncomfortable. I promise you. If you see this through, when 2023 rolls around, you will actually notice that for the first time in your life, you are a different person. Anyway, I just figured I would throw that advice bomb on y'all for the new year. I hope at least one person got something out of that they can take with them on their journey and will help them change their life. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I wish y'all love, luck, light, and prosperity on your journey. Y'all have a good day.